So hello and welcome to season 7 of the Mundane to Magical online summit series. My name is Louise Matson, and as always, I am truly blessed to be your host. Today, I am really honoured and excited to welcome another brand new speaker to the summit on this pre-recorded interview, Dorte Bredgaard. My personal journey, like many others who have been working on their energy bodies and working on their healing process over the past few decades, has seen me working through the energetic healing and releasing work being carried out in the etheric realms and the higher vibrational aspects of my being. And in particular, working within the higher energy centers specifically. I found this focus really shifted over the past couple of years as we collectively found ourselves experiencing the very physical COVID narrative and the healing opportunities that arose throughout this experience. It became apparent that the healing and releasing work had suddenly shifted, and the focus was no longer in the higher centers, but had shifted down into the very physical ones, the lower energy centers. And I saw this as a representation of our shift to fully embodying our true essence within our physical form. Now, this led me to some interesting physical experiences and transformations, which I'm sure many people can relate to. But also, this aspect of my healing and remembering process guided me into a greater awareness of some brand new and wonderful light workers who've devoted their work and their lives to very physical and yet highly attuned practices such as bodywork, breathwork, nutrition, and in Dorte's case, holistic dentistry. So let me introduce our wonderful new speaker to you. Dorte was born in 1960 in Denmark, and her father was a dentist, and she started to work at his office when she was 14. She developed an interest in dentistry and later studied to become a dentist herself, and she worked for 25 years in this role. However, she became more and more frustrated because what she saw with her patients' teeth didn't correspond to the scientific theories. And when she had 2 new cavities herself, she knew that there had to be a different explanation and set out to find what it was. She learned that body, mind, and emotions are a unity, not divided as science seems to think. And so, determined to find solutions, she discovered that there is a basic emotion behind every disease, and every single tooth corresponds to a different area of life. Now, Dorte's written 3 books. One of them is translated into English and is called Teeth Don't Lie. And I must say, this is an amazing book full of deep wisdom into the language of our teeth and actually what the universe is telling us through them. Dorte has helped thousands of clients around the world to understand their teeth and how to deal more effectively with pain and other issues. Her goal is to teach people that healthy teeth is a birthright, and everyone can achieve that if they learn basic knowledge about teeth and how they communicate with us. Dorte teaches the secret language of teeth and is currently working on an online course to assist people to learn the language of their teeth and how to heal their core wounds that affect not only their teeth, but their lives in general. Now, the topic for today's conversation is Teeth Don't Lie, which is also the title of Dorte's translated book. And I'm really excited to explore this topic with you, Dorte. So it's my absolute pleasure and honor to welcome you to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
Oh no, as always, people who know me will know that I'm guided by spirit as to who to invite to the show. And I connected with your work through watching you on Bracker Goldsmith's podcast recently. And immediately it was like, yes, absolutely, I must invite Dorte to come and speak on the show. And your book, I was really blown away by the insights and the wisdom into how our teeth represent our, or have represented my personal journey emotionally and mentally throughout this life. And so I just found it all absolutely fascinating. But before we go into the real kind of meat of that, I just wondered if you would like to share a little bit about how your journey transitioned from the kind of very mundane, if you like, scientific way of viewing teeth and, you know, what they represent, or, you know, if they represent anything within ourselves, to that more holistic and spiritual aspect of your work.
Yes. Well, in the beginning, when I started to work as a dentist, I was excited about it. I really loved helping my patients and connect with them. And but very soon, as you mentioned, I got frustrated because I saw that some people had only had cavities in the right side or the left side or on the top or the bottom. And some people had a huge cavity and the teeth next to were completely healthy. And some people had periodontal disease on only one tooth. How can that be? How can you brush perfectly except for one tooth? It didn't make sense. And one day, one of my patients, he asked me, why do I get all these cavities? And I asked her, well, how much sugar do you eat? And she said, well, I don't even like the taste of it. And well, I was left with what answer could I give her? I didn't have any. And another patient, a man, he had severe periodontal disease. And he also asked me, well, my wife, she doesn't brush her teeth longer than I do, but her teeth are perfect. So why do I have these? And again, I don't know. And then, as you mentioned, I had the two cavities myself. And I always had very good teeth. I only had two cavities when I was 15 and 16. So why did I suddenly develop two new cavities? So at that point, I knew I had to find another explanation that could explain what I saw. And I was trying to figure it out, but I couldn't just get around it. And then one day I had a new patient, and we had a long talk, and he was astrologist, and we became friends. And he was very wise. And one day he told me that if you have bad teeth, you bite your tongue instead of biting back. And that everything fell into place for me, because at the time that I had the two cavities, I was in a marriage that didn't work anymore. But in my family, you could always read between the lines that you don't get divorced. That's shameful. So, I just bit my tongue and stayed in the marriage until I couldn't anymore. So for me, it made sense that the physical and the mental are united.
Yeah.
Of course. It's so strange that science keep dividing it.
Yeah.
And what I have learned, because once I thought of this new theory that it's because you're not expressing your emotions, and that was what I was working with, and I was trying to figure out why my patients had these cavities. And some of them I asked them, what is going on in your life right now? And a few of them, they thought it was, oh, this is really good. But the rest of them were just, well, just fix my teeth. I came here to have my teeth fixed. And in the television, there was program about an astrologist and some other people from that, what is it called? They had to figure out a known person and a famous person who out from the birth dates and and this palm reader, there was a palm reader, and she said that the fingers, they represent areas of life. And I thought, so maybe teeth do that also. So I started to figure out and tune into the energy, and then I realized that yes, certainly they do, of course. And then it became more and more frustrating for me to work as a dentist, because when you're a dentist, there are a set of rules. You have to teach people to floss their teeth, and you have to tell them that fluoride is wonderful, and and there are many things that you have to do. So I was more and more, I couldn't do it anymore. But I couldn't just stop being a dentist, because only a few people knew about this, so I couldn't make money. And then, the universe gave me a helping hand. So one morning I had an accident with my hand, so my left thumb was torn off. And then I couldn't work as a dentist, and I had an insurance that gave me 5 years. So in these 5 years, I could dive deeper into it, and I wrote my first book, and yes, the rest is history.
I love that. I really love that story, and your experience. And I know, losing your thumb is not a pleasant part of the experience, but I just find it incredible, and it just amazes me each time I hear somebody's new story, how the universe kind of steps in. Yes. I mean, that really was a shift from the mundane to the magical to you, sort of moving from very standard approach to dentistry, starting to kind of feel this doesn't fit, this doesn't work for me. And then the universe giving you an opportunity. And okay, it was a painful opportunity that we would, from an egoic perspective, say, I don't want that. But in its own way was perfect. And I can 100% relate to that. And I'm sure many other people can. But one thing that I absolutely love about your story is that a lot of times people think that when they shift from the mundane to the magical, they have to do something completely different. But what you've done is, obviously through the channeled information, because this was your passion, you've brought the magic into what has been a very mundane topic, a mundane thing. Yes. And I think that that's amazing. And not only that, but you're bringing through this higher wisdom, which I think we're now all ready to hear. I don't think we were ready to hear it before.
No.
This story that the teeth have for us, the wisdom that they hold. So let's explore that a bit more. Because you actually read teeth, and I find that absolutely wonderful. I mean, I just find that incredible. And it didn't dawn on me. I suppose because, like many people, I've been so focused in the higher energetic realms, I've kind of ignored the physical part. But it really is a roadmap, just as much as our natal chart and our numerology and things. So would you like to speak a little bit more about how the teeth talk, what they are actually saying about, how our life experience and what we came here to have?
But they show your personality. The way they are positioned show your personality. And if you have issues, if you have diseases, that's their language. All the small symptoms, even if there's some food stuck between two teeth, it's a message from your teeth. So everything that you are aware of, sometimes people say, oh, my tongue is on this tooth all the time. That's also a signal, a message. And when I want to teach people this, because when we listen to the small messages, then the teeth will not have to shout at us.
Yeah.
And if we follow the guidance of our teeth, then the healing will be a side effect to having a much better life.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that really comes through in your book, Teeth Don't Lie, that it's not just about your teeth. If you actually look at what that positioning, what that condition is sort of saying, and I'll just go through a few of them that actually relate to my teeth.
Yeah.
Sort of receding gums, and that being, feeling like you need to be in control. So it's not necessarily about toothbrushing, although I do want to come on to toothbrushing because I know that's a book that you were working on. But it's about that need to be in control, and you kind of receding back in on yourself, and then also clenching of the teeth, and grinding teeth as well. You know, they've got specific emotional triggers behind these conditions, and so it's not a case of going to the dentist and getting a gum guard to treat the symptom. It's like getting into the root of what that condition is actually trying to say from a much grander emotional perspective, that if you work on that, you won't need to have
Yes, sure.
this chatter going off in your mouth. So, I mean, I was just going to look at a few of the impacts of the standard dental processes that are used, that many people will have had, such as braces and fillings and the extraction of teeth and wisdom teeth in particular. And if you just wanted to share whatever wanted to come through about those techniques that people, thousands of people undertake, you know, every day.
Yes. And we can start with braces. And I think it's in a way, it's so arrogant to put braces on a child's teeth. It's like, okay, I'm a human and I'm smarter than nature. No, you're not. Nature had an intention with placing the teeth in that position.
Mm-hmm.
So it's even the fact that you have to put a retainer on afterwards to force. At first you force the teeth in another position, and then you force them to stay there. And if the retainer falls off, then even maybe 30 years later, your teeth will move again. And it's not like they just discovered, oh, we're free now, let's move. No, they try every second. They try to move back to the original position.
Mm.
So the tension in the tissue is obvious. And what happens, to some very severe, others less, it's when you are forced to show a different face, a different set, a different smile, then you have a built-in conflict.
Mm.
And for some people it's very severe. Well, one of the worst cases is a man that he found me last year, and he was, well, you are the world's the best dentist in the world, because he had suicide thoughts ever since he had his teeth aligned. He had been forced to show a different face.
Mm.
And once he found me and discovered, oh, the wisdom behind it, then he could let go of this suicide thoughts, and his life is completely different now.
Mm.
Other people, they get chronic disease. And some people, of course, some children, they are so happy that their teeth are aligned. But we have to work on self-respect, self-esteem, self-love. And don't fix anything to feel more worthy. It doesn't make sense.
Mm.
So
because we're trying to fit in with that external narrative on what is right, rather than allowing ourselves to be our authentic, true selves, and that true essence to shine through.
Yes. And sometimes the dentists, they pull out teeth before they put the braces on, and that is really severe also, because as I mentioned, that the teeth represent areas of life, and often the one that is pulled out is the one that is about self-love.
Yeah. That was mine.
Yes. So whoa, don't do it. And then they they pull the teeth, and so they close the gap, and the one that takes its place is about being a helper, being useful. So it takes the role, but combines it with its own energy. So now you are only worthy of being loved if you help other people.
Yeah.
And that's what the dentist created in you.
I mean, it's interesting because, again, I mean, I am very much of the belief that everything is perfect and everything happens for a reason. So I do believe that that was my journey. It was part of my journey.
Sure.
That was kind of, as it were, written in the stars before I popped out of my mum's womb. But I do find it interesting because something else that you write in the book is when people have accidents with their teeth and damage their teeth or have teeth knocked out. And again, it's the universe kind of honing in on this kind of area or aspect that tooth represented. And again, it's mind-blowing, really. When I read the book, it was just like, oh my goodness, oh my goodness.
I love that.
So another way that the dentists often, and people often experience through dentistry is having their wisdom teeth removed.
Yes.
Now, I've always found that fascinating, and thankfully I have my wisdom teeth. Because the dentist took my self-love teeth out, my wisdom teeth had room to come in. But yeah, would you like to share a little bit more about our wisdom teeth and possibly what the extraction of them has as an impact on our lives moving forward?
Yes. When I studied to be a dentist, I was taught that I should pull out all wisdom teeth unless there was room for them. And the sooner the better. And for many years I felt as a really bad dentist because I didn't do it. I couldn't make people go through that trauma it is to have the healthy teeth removed. And today I think, well, I'm glad I didn't pull out every wisdom tooth, because it takes the body around 10 years to create one tooth. It's a very complex thing to have it to make this tooth, and the body would never spend 10 years energy on making something that's not supposed to be there. Nature never makes mistakes. That's one of my I want to emphasize that. So what I have also seen is sometimes people have a tooth knocked out, or a tooth that was root canal treated, and then it's pulled out. And if the wisdom teeth are still there, then it will all move together, and suddenly now there's room for the wisdom tooth, and which will be a lot better than a root canal treated teeth with large filling. And so sometimes I can see that the wisdom tooth has taken the place of the 12-year-old teeth. What do you call it? 12-year-old? It comes when you're 12 years.
Oh, it's kind of like the adolescent. I don't know, actually. I don't know in terms of what you would call it in a tooth.
So that's okay.
Well, I mean, 12 years old is kind of like you coming into adolescence, isn't it?
Yes, and it comes in at the time where the number 7. Well, as a dentist, we in Denmark at least we put numbers, and we count them from the center, 1, 2, 3, 4, and the wisdom tooth is number 8. So the number 7 is the one that comes when you are 12, and number 7 is about authority. So when your teeth comes in your mouth, grows, what do you call it? Grows in, what emerge? What do you call it?
Yeah, I suppose it's, well, I mean, I would say when your teeth come through,
Yes.
Yeah.
When the number 7 comes through, then you suddenly have this access to the energy, to the authority energy. And when you have a new tooth, then of course you are playing with the energy, and you are trying your authority and say, well, how can I use this? No, I don't want to do that anymore. And then they are, oh, she's a teenager, you know. Oh, so they're just trying out their new energy.
I love that, actually, because it's kind of like it was always there, because it
Yes,
was always there within the structure of the
yes,
jaw, but now it's emerging, now it's being expressed outwardly because it's coming through into the physical, as it were.
yes.
Yeah. And again, yeah, with everything, with every new, we kind of have to put new clothes on and try them on, and it takes a while for them to kind of settle in until it fits, and we fit with it.
Yes.
So wow, that's really deep insight into the kind of the teenage struggles and challenges that we go through with our children. And what I love is, having been a parent myself, I didn't have this wisdom then, but having been a parent myself, the opportunity that having this knowledge gives in our journey with our children, because it provides a far greater understanding of this person who's developing and forming before us into their own individual spark of light that they are. And having that insight through the expression of their teeth, so that we could even further support, assist, and guide them.
Yes.
And not kind of try to form them into an externally acceptable presentation.
And making them wrong, making them flawed.
Yeah. That's really powerful. I really feel that moving forward, that this work is going to be an enormous part of conscious parenting.
Yes.
Um,
and my third book is for children,
yes.
and it is right now, it is being translated, and I think the title in English will be Goodbye Toothbrush.
Yes, I do like the Danish version, but
Yes.
I appreciate that it's possibly not an easy sell for a lot of parents.
No, because in Danish it is fuck the toothbrush, and it goes in a different language other than English, I think.
Yeah. Each language has a slightly different connotation as to the reception of the words. So, talking about goodbye to the toothbrush. So why would that be a thing? What would be the alternative as well, to support our teeth?
Yes, toothbrush doesn't make any difference at all. Not if you talk about health. It just, it doesn't help. But what helps, what will keep your teeth healthy, it's a natural state to have healthy teeth. It's our natural state to have healthy teeth. So if they are diseased, then it's because you don't express your emotions. All the words that don't come out of your mouth, words are energy. And if you are really angry with somebody, and you dare not say it, or I would be a bad person, or all those stories we have in our heads, if those words will not come out of your mouth, then the energy is it doesn't just disappear. Energy will be transformed into something else. And the decay, the breaking down of dental tissue or bone tissue, it demands energy. It's like when you tear down a building, you need big machinery and a lot of energy to break it down. And it's the same with teeth. It's not that we are attacked by bacteria. We are taught to believe that there is a war inside our mouth. And if we don't brush enough and floss, then the bacteria will win. It's not that at all. But the energy that will not come out of your mouth in a constructive way, that will turn inwards and it will break down. And specifically the tooth that represent that area of your life where you are not taking your place, where you're making yourself smaller.
Yeah, absolutely. And from an energetic healing perspective, that can be seen throughout the body as well. Yeah.
Yes.
And because obviously the teeth and the bones are our densest aspect in terms of the solidity, I often find that very deeply repressed, if you've repeatedly not spoken your truth, or if you've repeatedly responded or reacted or not been in alignment with your truth, then it impacts into your most densest aspect. And so yeah, I can fully connect with that the teeth will then start to decay because it's ingrained in that most densest aspect of our being.
Yes, and the mouth is a lot about communication, right? We have the body language, but it doesn't count. If I ask you to do something for me and I can see your body language says no, but if the yes comes out of your mouth, well, you said you would.
Yeah.
But that's the important. And animals, I have horses, and they can, they can speak in a lot of different ways. They can kick or threaten to kick or show teeth. Their communication is many things, whereas ours solely out.
Yeah.
You didn't say no. You didn't say no, or you said yes. That's the important thing. So that's why the energy is focused in here.
I mean, I do find it absolutely fascinating in your book going through the different conditions and where what the root cause, the emotional trigger is. But how, once we've identified that, how can we then, or can we work to heal that? Can we reverse a cavity? Can we, stop the recession of the gums and bring teeth back into their naturally healthy state? And if so, what is the work that we can do?
Yes, I have seen periodontal disease disappear completely. And I have seen the receding gums coming back. And I have seen decay heal, but if there is a loss of tissue, then I have not yet seen the growing back. I can admit I have 2 cavities that I discovered 7 years ago on an X-ray. I saw that, oh, I have decay on my number 7. I don't have my wisdom teeth, and number 7. And I was, I can feel I'm not going to have it drilled and filled. And I still have the, I can feel with my tongue that tissue is missing still, but it's not progressing. And what I discovered is that at the time where they developed, my body told me. They were very clear in their message, because suddenly one tooth got sharp. It didn't change its form, but it could tear my tongue on the side. And when the issue was solved, then it stopped developing and it stopped feeling sharp. And then 2 years ago, it suddenly got sharp again, and I knew that the trauma was reactivated. So the issue was going on again. And then I knew, oh yes, this is this community that I signed up for. It's not for me. So let me get out of here again. And so if we see it as a guidance system, and for me it's okay that the tissue is missing. Of course, if it was one of my front teeth, then maybe I would not be so pleased about it, and then I could go to the dentist and say, well, this will bring life quality for me to have it treated.
Because that's something else that's in your book. It's this new teeth, new chances.
Yes.
And which I absolutely loved. And that's not just related to the natural formation of new teeth, as in, you know, a child has their baby teeth first and then they come out and then they have their adult teeth grow through. But this also relates to like a crown or a false tooth or something, you know, a kind of a restoration of a damaged tooth.
For instance, or bridge, or yes.
Yeah. So do you want to share a bit more about that concept of new teeth, new chances?
Yes. So when a tooth is missing, when it's pulled out, then you have no longer access to that energy. But then if you get an implant, then you suddenly have access again. And maybe you don't want that access, because there was a reason for the tooth to be pulled out. The number 6 is in the lower mouth, is about work. And for some people, they work in a way that's exhausting. You have to work hard. You have to work hard. You know, you're not good enough if you don't work hard. And maybe they work and work and work and do much more than they actually have the energy for. And then at some point the tooth will and it will get a cavity, or it will have a periodontal disease. And then maybe it will be root canal treated, and you still don't listen to it. And then eventually it will be pulled out, because now you cannot give anymore. And maybe you get also arthritis or another disease that prevents your body from moving, which is just to help you, because you cannot find out to say no. So if you have this tooth removed, and then your dentist says, oh, you have to have this implant because the other teeth, they will move, and oh yes, I have to. You know, people, they think that the dentist is telling the truth always.
It's like the dentist knows best.
Yes, of course, because we're taught to know that we know nothing about our own teeth. That's the common concept.
Yeah.
So if you have this implant, and then okay, you have a new chance to work hard again. Then this implant may give you a lot of pain, or maybe even it doesn't want to stay.
Yeah. So I guess what you're saying is, when people have an issue with their teeth, it's allowing themselves to connect into, what is this telling me? What is this, you know, like tuning in, dropping out of their head and all of the kind of cognitive belief system stuff that we've picked up. And, you know, the dentist knows best, and actually tune in and connect in. Does it actually feel right to have this, a crown or a bridge or something replacing it? Or actually, in fact, has it left for a reason? And, you know, whatever that part of my journey was about, that's over, and I'm kind of shifting into new territory and allowing the other teeth on either side to kind of rejiggle themselves and move into that space.
Yes.
In terms of the crowns, because obviously people's front teeth, people get very sensitive if they lose any aspect of their front teeth, the number ones, is it?
Yes.
And so they would quite often replace those. What are your insights into what benefits that might have if that was what felt in alignment to be done, to having the kind of replacement as opposed to allowing the other teeth to move into place?
I'm not sure if I understand it right, but of course there's a cosmetic reason for having these teeth, and having half a tooth is it brings some signals. And I have seen implants work very well. And what I want people to do is to, if they are missing one of them, find out what was it. What was it about? Why did it happen? And then embrace the new energy and say, okay, I have learned the lesson now. I want to talk about a woman, a client I had. She had a long history with her left central, and she hit it when she was 7 years old, and or it was pushed up in the gum. It was very traumatic, and later it was root canal treated, and then she had an implant, and now this implant was falling out. So that's what, when she came to me, and I think she was 70 years old at that point. And I asked her, well, if you hit a tooth when you were 7 so severely, what had happened before? And you know, the centrals, they are about expressing yourself, communicating. And what had happened in your life before that? And it turned out that she had, when she was 6, she had a near-death experience. So she had seen what was on the other side, and she had met Jesus. It was so beautiful, she said.
Yeah.
And I asked her, well, whom do you tell it to? And well, nobody, because she of course had told her mother, and her mother said, well, that's fantasy and don't talk about it. Yes. But I know that if you have this experience when you are 6, then it's something that defines your life. It was an experience that you had to have. So she was not expressing, you know, she was not expressing what she came here for.
Yeah.
And then there's no need for that tooth. So, as simple as that. So that's why it came out.
And
So,
also then why she had other issues when she tried to have it replaced, that the actual reconstruction itself kept coming out because she wasn't expressing.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, she was still not expressing. So this intelligence in the body, so mind-blowing.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, what I've kind of gained from the book is, in the most part, that kind of going through the process that I've been going through for the last 6 years of allowing myself to be unapologetically who I am. You know, this is me. This is how I came in. This is how my body is expressing itself. There is no right, wrong, good, bad. I don't need to look like anybody else. And my teeth being a big part of that. So for me, the book was really saying, you know, let yourself be who you came in to be.
Yes.
And your body holds that blueprint. Your body, your teeth hold that within you. And so some of them will be highlighting those aspects of your journey that you came here to experience and master. So in my bit, it was self-worth, self-love, because I lost those teeth quite early on. But then also, you know, interlinked with this complete self-acceptance journey as well. And some will be kind of us highlighting those areas so that we can have that focus. Like you say, it's kind of like your teeth going, hello.
Yes.
so that we can actually shift and change where we are out of alignment, because that's what they're showing us. It's really kind of where we've become out of alignment when we develop an issue with our teeth,
Yes.
and sort of how from a root cause we can come back into alignment. I think
Yes.
I think that's one of the most amazing aspects of your work in general, not just your book, but also your work as a whole. So moving forward, I know that you are moving away from seeing kind of individual clients,
Yes.
that you want to be able to kind of reach more people and assist more people in a more, I suppose, remote way, as it were. So do you want to speak a bit to the work that you're kind of calling into manifestation at the minute and what you're creating?
Yes. I am working on an online course where I want people to sense their teeth. I want people to look at them, accept them, love them, be grateful for them, and know the energy. And so it's integrated in the system.
Mm.
And the last many years I have had clients, and that's what I have done for a living. But it's now I also have clients from all parts of the world, which is very exciting. But it's also draining my energy. So I want to teach. I want everybody to know this. As you mentioned, it's a birthright, and I want to teach people that. So I have created this online course, and I'm a bit a dilemma because people are from Australia, people are from America, and the time zones are. I'm a little confused on how to do that.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just have more of them. So I'm finding the form for it.
So, where can people go to keep abreast of what you're offering? Have you got a website, or is there somewhere where they can go to kind of keep updated on?
Yes, I have my website, and especially those who have bought my book Teeth Don't Lie, I will also offer a Q&A, maybe once a month. So I'm working on several things. So people can have questions about their own teeth when they have read my book, and they don't necessarily can figure everything out. So I want to answer those questions also. So if they have bought my ebook or my paperback, then they are on my list, and I will send them more information. And I also have a website, but my audience has mainly been Danish. So now I know I've written in Danish, and now do I now switch to English? So it's a little confusing for me to what actually to do.
Mm. Well, I mean, I think, again, everything happens for a reason, and everything is divinely planned and instigated. So I don't think it's by accident that you have started to be seen, and for people to bring you to the forefront on podcasts and interviews and things, and again, the timing is perfect.
Yes.
So I personally feel that there is a large audience of people that, this, well, having read the book and having connected into the wisdom within the book, and again, it's that roadmap. If you're a parent and you have this wisdom inherently within you, I can see where that would be limitless in the support that you are able to give, and the deeper understanding of this beautiful individuated spark that is before you as a child. My personal perception of parenthood is that we're custodians of the journey of this soul, whilst it's in a physical state of not being able to care for itself. And there comes a point, and for each child it's different, where they're ready, and again it's the adolescent teeth coming through, where they're ready to kind of start expressing their true selves. And if we have that awareness, then we can assist them in that process, and hopefully stop them having to have those experiences in later life that we've currently got. But as an adult, again, it's a bit like if you have your soul contract done, you're looking back retrospectively. But I feel that's also equally as important, because if you have this deeper understanding of what your own teeth are trying to tell you, and like you say, those moments where you get some food stuck, or you always get food stuck in that place, or you always bite your tongue with that same tooth, or it allows you to kind of go even deeper into yourself. And to really go into that healing process on a physical level as well as spiritual and emotional and mental. So I personally feel everybody needs to connect in with this wisdom. So yeah, I mean, if you can put it and shift into a format of English, and I know that's really arrogant in terms of assuming that the most of the world will understand English and it's kind of the universal language, but it is what it is.
At least more people speak English than Danish.
Yes. I do love Danish, but I find it incredibly difficult to pronounce words. But yeah, no, that sounds absolutely fantastic. And I know from my perspective, it would be something that I would definitely be interested in connecting with further. But even now, the book is a fantastic starting place. So if people really want to get to what their teeth are telling them, and what I'm going to do is look back on pictures of myself as a child to see my teeth then. Because one of the things that I've realized I've lost is my canines used to be really pointy. They used to be really sharp, and a bit like David Bowie's. They came from the upper part of the gum, and now they look completely different. So I'm kind of interested in that kind of journey, because of the grinding, because of the clenching, of where I am now and where I was as a child. Is there anything else that you would like to share, anything that wants to come through before we close this conversation?
No, I think it's good for now. I could, of course, speak about teeth for hours, for days. But I think I have my first courses, my physical courses were one day I told people everything, and after that they knew nothing because they were too overwhelming. Because this is new stuff for most people. It's so different from what they usually know, so you have to have it small pieces at the time.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can get into overwhelm of information and kind of feel like we don't take away anything. So kind of bite-sized chunks that we can then kind of integrate and digest, as it were, is good. Which is why I like the book, because you've got pictures and there's not a lot of text, but it gives you the information that you need. It's not an overwhelming read. And also, obviously, if you've got particular conditions, you could just go to that particular condition and have a look into that. And then, you can go on your own journey as to, investigating deeper within yourself. When did it start? What was going on? And all of that kind of thing. But yeah, it's
when I was Braca Goldsmith was interviewing me, and I saw there was a lot of comments underneath, and many people they wrote, "Oh, my teeth were so painful, and at that time I was in a really abusive relationship, and many people wrote that. And I think, well, it's so weird that the language of teeth is a secret, because it's so obvious when people look back and they say, oh yes, at that time that it really fit together.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think that that's just completely representative of how people see themselves. You know, people are so caught up in this is just who I am, you know, I just came in like this, or, you know,
Yes.
or, you know, not kind of connecting into things happen for a reason, that there is a divine plan, or, you know,
Yeah.
that there's anything other than this physical form, then you just take it for granted. You know, I mean, one of the things that I've realized, and one of the things that this book has also gifted me another level of, is the level of gratitude that I feel for my body and my teeth. And it's just building that deeper connection with my physical form. And a lot of people on the spiritual journey, you know, they want to leave the physical because it's too dense and it's, you know, painful and it's got all this trauma going on, and so they're up and out in meditation. But I really feel now is the time. I don't think people have been ready.
No.
Now is the time for us to kind of really come in and gain that greater understanding of what this physical vessel has, because
Yes.
it wasn't an accident. You know,
No.
it's not an accident that I'm 5'3" and my feet are the size they are and my teeth look the way they do. It's
No.
just as divinely planned as the time of my birth, the name that I chose, and everything else.
Yes. Yes.
So yeah, I just think it's an absolutely beautiful body of work that you've brought through.
Thank you.
And I am really excited. I'm really excited to share it with my audience, and I'm really excited for what comes through with your work as you progress and you channel more stuff and you find new and exciting ways to share it with the wider collective, because I think we're ready.
Yes, I think so too. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, well, thank you so much, Dorte, for
You're
joining me.
welcome. You're welcome. It was a pleasure.
And I'm fairly sure that there will be a lot of interest in your work. So I know that I actually bought the book from your website in the electronic format.
Yes.
But you said you can also get it in hardback form from your website as well. Is that correct?
Paperback. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Excellent. So all of the details for Dorte's website and how you can contact Dorte and get involved with her work will be under the interview video, but also on the email that goes out in addition with this interview. This interview is pre-recorded and it will be airing on the 26th of February. So that's Saturday, not this coming Saturday, but the next. And yeah, and I will be sharing a live interview on the 27th with the beautiful Kerry Walters, who will be talking about breath work, again, another aspect of working consciously with our body and the physical aspect of our being. But for now, thank you, Dorte. It's been an absolute pleasure and honor to share space with you and for you to bring your wisdom through.
Thank you. You're
Such
welcome.
beautiful work, absolutely beautiful work
Thank
that
you.
you do. Bye, everybody.
Bye.